Hey everybody, it's Chad with Old South Fours. We're back again today with a little primitive knife that we've left off on the last video. I was showing y'all how I mount my handles. And like I say, I've got the handle mounted. It's epoxied on or glued on to keep it from moving and twisting while I'm working and putting the pin and pewter on it. I've just got my little hoe, a pilot hoe, started with a utility knife. I just kind of, bored a little hole in there for my bit. And we're gonna go ahead and drill that out and get the pin in it, and then we're gonna get the pewter poured around it, and we'll get that shaped up, and it'll be ready for the color and about ready to put a hedge on it. And we'll go in here in the shop and get that going. All right, got the Old Faithful here cranked up. This is my fancy $100 drill press. Missing one of the handles. My pawpaw made this, put an old washing machine motor on it. Kind of sounds like one, don't it, on the spin cycle. Alright, so I'm going to try to real carefully bore the hole for my pin. Got to give them little bits their time. Well, take your time, at a slow pace. So breaking the bit off down in the hole, it drilled halfway through, and then you snap the bit, which I could do. Y'all might see me do it firsthand. That's real pain. That is a real pain. You know what? I just noticed something. This block of wood that I've got back here is flexing, or it's rolling, causing my bit to do this number. Now, I'm not using a little tiny bit either. I'm just using the same size bit, same size pin that I use on my bigger knife. I just kind of want it to stand out. I kind of want it to look a little bit, have a certain amount of crudeness, primitive look to it. At this point, I'm just praying I don't hit a hard spot in that tang. I shouldn't. I nailed it really good before I quenched it. I didn't quench the tang. It's important. I've found it to be important when you see I'm already in the steel, in the tang. But when all that old chip starts wanting to come out, back out with that bit. If you ain't here, especially on a little antler like this, you'll push all that garbage through the exit hole over there, and it'll splinter your antler or wood or whatever else you're using. It looks kind of cruddy. Right there. Got a hole all the way through the handle. And now we're gonna go get us some pin material and get that in there, get it fixed. All right, I found me a box of pins here. Some 6D 2-inch trim nails. Just a trim nail. That's all you need. All you need is a steel pin, And these little nails right here work fine for it. Just gotta roll around this grinding wheel just a tad. They're just a little bit bigger than that drill hole, which is good. You want to keep that pin kind of tight, because if you go to hammering on it and it's got a lot of play in it, it's just gonna kind of, that pin's just gonna kind of crimp in the middle, and it looks like who done it, and you got a mess, and it is hard to get out, and it can crush your antler when it folds over on this. So just be sure. Now here it is. I sound like I'm making a how-to video again, and see that's all the way through. I just take my little hammer. I highly recommend these little small hammers right here. I got this one, and I got this little bitty ball peen right here. Little tiny guy. They come in real handy for doing these pins. They do for me. Let me snip that off. Nothing special. just a hardware store pair of snips. Okay. I'm gonna use my bench grinder again to knock that down a little bit. Get it down so it's just barely sticking out of the antler. Do this with a file sometime, but for the purpose of this video, this is a whole lot quicker. Okay. And now the key is try not to crush it. And you see that? Just a little bitty bit sticking up past the surface of the antler on both sides. Just enough to flatten down. Brad that out. Let's see, go up here to this horn. See? Smooth. You might have a little burr or something left right there on that. Just take you a little fine file, hit it a couple of times, or even some sandpaper. Usually it'll take care of that. So now it's locked on there. It's mechanically locked. It's glued. It's locked. It ain't going anywhere. You wouldn't have to put a bolster on it if you didn't want to, but it's gonna look like crap if you don't. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my paper cut and get the dam made and the paper on it, and we'll get it poured and see what it looks like. All right, we got the tape on it. See, I've got it taped up. Come in here and get a closer look. You see down in there, it's just a little cavity there. It's gonna catch this pewter. I didn't video putting the paper on it because I did that in another video. I figured y'all probably already know that. But it's getting this pewter melted. And it's about ready to go. I'm gonna go ahead and pour it. So cross your fingers for me. Make sure that spout on the can right there. This is a Beaner Wiener can, is what I'm using for a ladle. Okay, let's see what we can do here. There we go. Just a real quick thing. Just pour it in there and hope that it takes. Good thing to remember to do is make sure you get any epoxy or glue that you put that handle on there with. A lot of times, you know, when you put the tang down in the handle, that glue is gonna come up on you. It's gonna get on the tang, and it's gonna get in that joint. And most of the time, that pewter will it'll react to it. It don't like it at all, and it'll wind up making you a cavity or a void in the bolster. And you may have to file it and cut it off and start all over again. It's really not that big a deal, but you know, if you don't have to do it, don't do it. Just remember to clean that up with some sandpaper and a file. And I'm just gonna let that cool for a little bit. It's still a mite hot. Let it cool off and I'll get the paper off, and hopefully it'll be a good pour. All right, it's cooled off now. I'm gonna get the paper off of it. See what kind of pour we got. Hopefully a good one. Hopefully not a pour, but a good pour. Let's see. It's got a passel of tape and paper on there. Ouch. And there'll be little stickies on there sometimes too. Check that out. Right into the finger. A pewter thorn. Paper on. I believe it did okay. I'll have to get a knife and dig that out from under there. There we go. You see, there it is. Now I just gotta take my files and see where that spilt back. And I'll bring this forward a little bit and kind of round it off and make it a little bit smaller so it'll suit the knife. And we'll get the file on that. For that, I'm gonna take it back in the cabin over there. It's getting a little too dark out here now. It's getting late in the evening. That little 60-watt bulb up there ain't gonna cut it, so we're gonna go in the shop and see what we can do with the files. All right, I'm about to start filing it. I got like a little medium tooth file, but let me show you what I did to this one. You see that edge, the side edge? I ground that off just so it's slick. About halfway down on both sides of the file. It's just a regular old file, nothing special. But I slicked that for this. So when I go around the back half of this pewter, I ain't gonna have them teeth there sawing my antler away, filing that away. So get started right here. Try to get some of this off. Well, that ain't gonna work. I'll just secure it a little bit better. Not too tight. I don't want to pop that little old fragile antler. Well, it ain't that fragile, but see, I'm just filing it real quick in a rounded motion because I want to keep it round looking, but I want to reduce the diameter. I built the dam up where it was, you know, thicker than what I needed, because it's better to have too much than not enough. If you get it poured and don't have enough to work with, then that's a pain. And it don't take long to cut it down. That soft pewter with that little file, eat it down pretty fast. All right, it's starting to shape up a little bit now. See, I've tucked that down considerably. Just keeping it rounded. It ain't got to be perfect, but I want it to stay kind of round. See the difference on this side and this side? So it's a pretty good bit that I'm taking off. Let's see if we can do it from this side this time. I don't want to pop that antler, so I don't want to over flex it in the vise, but you got to get a good enough bite on it where it ain't going to fly out on the floor and break the tip off the knife. This little old knife here is a thin, lean little blade, and I've tapered it down to a spring. So it's got some pretty good flex in it. And I'm probably going to put this on a bag, on one of my black powder bags. Get a sheath maker to make me a sheath for it to attach it to the bag. Probably the man that made the bag. And because that's one thing I don't do. I don't make sheaths. I don't have time. I'm not set up for it. I'm not saying I couldn't do it. I probably could. But there's people out there and do it a whole lot better than me. And right now I'm not wanting to learn a new craft. This keeps me pretty busy right here. So I just let somebody else do the sheaths and give some of my friends business that make sheaths for people's knives. There again, see that slick side on that file? I'm up against this, facing the bolster, getting that face, and it's not cutting into my blade. You know, if that file still had the teeth on it, I'd be sitting here just filing away at the blade, or at least scratching the crap out of it, make it look like Fido. Gotta keep that even. Almost gotta come way on back. I hope y'all can see what we're doing here, what I'm trying to show you. I'm gonna readjust it. You see, just filing this back because I don't want it that thick. About like that, it's pretty good. I'll trim that out right here in the corner. I'll trim that out with a razor knife, and then go back with a file and finish it up. So the top of it right there needs to catch up to the rest of it. There we go. Don't want to bite her too tight. It'd make me sick. Y'all see me cry on this video if I snap that blade. I've done it. There's lots of people that make knives has done it. Make you sick, but sometimes that's just part of it. It just happens. See, it's starting to shape up real nice. Pretty. It's getting there. And let's see. Get the bottom half of it. That stuff cuts like butter, especially if you got a good sharp file. Even a dull file cuts up pretty good. Pretty good. better. And now, see this right here on the back, where it followed the pattern of that paper that was wrapped around. Got to trim all that off and get that sharp edge off of it. Do this with this side of the little file right here. Got it, I've kind of pretty much got it warped into shape here now, what I want. I'm just taking my time, trying not to booger that antler up because the edges are still there on that file. So just kind of a little ball of pewter left there. And I'm just feeling around with my fingers here to make sure there ain't no jagged lips, edges on that pewter. About got them. Take it out and I'll show you. See, just a little round piece of pewter. If you can tell or not. So, anyway, another little, let's see. Now I got to get all them file markings out of it. I'll just take me a little piece of sandpaper here, a little fine sand, rip me a little strip of it off. And get on and kind of sand. It's pretty fine too. You don't want it, got to be careful. You don't want it cutting into your antler. You see how I'm just getting the back edge of that pewter where it meets the antler. Try to cut that out, clean that up. Maybe where I've hit it with the files kind of boogered it in places. And there again, you know, I'm not trying to make no slick knife. I like that old backwoods look. That's what I'm all about. I love history and I love old historic weapons and guns and knives, swords, tomahawks, and all that stuff. And I just kind of like for it to look like it come out of them times, you know. Simple old knife, just made by a backwoodsman, farmer, frontiersman, just a common man, you know. No machines, no steam hammers, no water powered hammers and all that stuff, and equipment. Just a hammer, an anvil, and maybe a file or two. See, that's shining up pretty good. Don't flip it over. Get the other side. Do it on this side here. Being careful not to put too much pressure on it in the vise. Kind of get this side, clean it up a little bit. And you really want to get it slick. You can go over it with a fine steel wool. And it'll take all them little scratches out. But, you know, a little ding or a scratch here and there is okay. It just goes with the knife. It gives it a little character. Especially if you're going to color it up and antique it. So we're not going for a store-bought looking knife. But it's still got a little more unsightly scratches in it than I want it to have. So I'll take them out. Anyway, it's getting there. Just another couple of passes. I'm just going to get my steel wool and roll it around it and see what that'll do. I like it. So far, I really like it. So we'll get a steel wool and see what that does. You see these little scratches still left in it? They're little, but there's a few little scratches left in it. Just take this fine wool and just work it around it. And kind of clean up the antler too, right there at that joint. It'll be shiny. It'll be real shiny and new looking once you do this. But I'll color it back out and it won't have that sheen to it. That pewter is going to dull anyway. It's kind of like lead, you know, it'll dull down, get that white, gray white look to it after it's handled a little bit. I see a little bit of pewter right there on that edge. Trying to get that out with the razor blade. There we go. It's just a little piece. I don't like it. I think I'll go with it. But you know what? I'll have to go back to the sandpaper and just knock the last couple of little pieces, or little scratches out back there. That still ain't gonna quite do it. They're a little bit deep yet. I don't want to leave any sharp edges at all. On these old stuff, you know, it's been around, if it's been handled for 250 years, usually the edges are high points and it's going to be worn a little bit slick. Smooth as silk. But anyway, there you go. And now all I got left to do is color up the handle, get all this colored in, and get it sharpened up, get the blade colored up a little bit more. So I'm going to finish that. I'm not going to bore y'all with that. You get the gist of it. You see what I'm doing. So anyway, I hope that was helpful. I've actually asked, somebody commented they wanted to see the pour, so I hope that was helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. You know, like I say, it's not a how-to video, it's just how I do it. But anyway, if you like what you see, like and subscribe the channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you'll get updates when our videos come out. I'll see you on the next video. I appreciate you watching. See you.